Okay, welcome to Dinim. James, what number is this? Dinim, what, 4?
4, I believe.
Dinim 4. And I didn't give you the pictures because I think this is going to be more about me talking, but keep your mic on. I want to work with you and get feedback. It's going to be more of a discussion. And this might be a 2-part discussion because there's a principle at the end that I want to research further. But we can't just go there. We got to work our way there. Okay? So let's have some discussion. James, are you with me?
Aye.
Good. Stay with me. And everybody in the class, type your answers. All right, this is a quiz, not a test. It's just to be on the same page, figuratively and literally. For those following on their own time afterwards, we're going to focus on Chulin, Tractate Chulin. I guess if you're really spunky and you want to bring it up, you can. You don't have to. But it's going to be, where are we at here? 33A in Chulin and 121B in Chulin. You don't have to bring it up. If you feel like it, you can. How many of you have heard of one of the 7 laws of Noah called eating the limb of a living animal? Anybody? Where does that mitzvah come from? Where do we learn that out? The Noahide, Akum, whatever you want to call this person, non-Jew, cannot eat the limb of a living animal. James, you know? This isn't, you don't have to feel threatened. This is easy answers. No. Yes and no. I can say yes, you're right, but I'm going to be difficult until you know. James Rogers, you know. We lost James Rogers. Eric, you're answering the pshat. You said Leviticus. That's the pshat. But what do the rabbis hold by? Lefi pshuto. The answer that is not the answer at the same time. For anybody who wants further discourse and pshat pshuto, see my other billion classes on the topic. The pshuto answer, which means it's the official answer, but you don't understand how or why it's official. It comes from Breshit, chapter 9, where Noah's commanded in the 7 laws of Noah. And among those 7 laws, the innovation from Adam is to not eat the limb of a living animal. And James, are you with me? Not yet. So I'm going to go ahead and read that myself.
So I had the mic with.
If you could read, you know the verse, chapter 9, verse something.
I'm opening it.
Yeah. Go ahead and read the mitzvah of don't eat the limb of the living animal in the verse.
Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Like the green herbage, I have given you everything. But flesh with its soul, its blood, you shall not eat. However, your blood, which belongs to your souls.
That's a different mitzvah.
Okay.
That's the dinim, where we're doing now.
Okay.
But you said previously, don't eat the blood with the meat, right?
Right. It's soul.
That is the shoresh, the root of the mitzvah Aver Menachai. Don't eat the limb of a living animal. But that's Lefi Pshuto. Meaning we'll say it's there. It's not really there. But we'll still say it's there. Rabbinic reality. Rabbinic reality. Now there is a verse, Mr. Eric Bryan, in Vayikra, Leviticus. James, get your handy Tanakh ready.
I'm getting there.
1926. Go ahead.
You said Eric, and then you said me.
I'm saying Eric gave us the book, and he was right.
Okay.
Go ahead and give us 1926, Vayikra.
You shall not eat over the blood.
Stop. There you have it. You shall not eat over the blood. That is a verse that the Talmud says you should not eat the limb of a living animal. You got this?
It talks about a full separation, doesn't it?
What's that?
Full separation of blood from.
No, that is a separate issue in the Tractate Sanhedrin.
Okay.
Which is also interesting. The Jewish people, Bnei Israel, are commanded to not eat blood. As James Rogers just mentioned, is the Akum or Ben Noach commanded in not eating blood? What do you guys think? What do you think, James?
I would say yes. We are commanded not to eat blood.
I think some say it's a question. It's a question. And it's a question we're not going to look up right now, but it is a question. And as you were mentioning before, can you eat a rat whole with the blood?
A rat, no.
Why not?
It's a living animal. It's not. Also, is it? There's a term.
Sheretz.
Right.
So the Talmud asks on that, or it says that the blood of that rat is not considered the meat. It's separate. Or no, is it separate? The same thing. I forget. Hold on. Say. This is the confusing stuff. I was just reviewing before I get into class. I'll tell you what it is.
There's a tiny mouse you can eat whole.
Yeah.
But the rat was I believe it wasn't included.
The thing here, let me see, where is it? I didn't want to get to this point, but we go the long way. We look things up. The rat, where is it? I didn't want to get into this, but it has to do with the blood is either part of the meat or not part of the meat, and that changes the law. And I just don't want to get into it right now, but this, like I said, this might be an ongoing or more than one class. This one. If you can, James, if you can find that, it shouldn't be that hard. I just don't remember the exact location. I don't want to waste time. There's an issue with the rat. Where is it? Is it here? 58. There's about the blood, eating the limb and the blood is in Sanhedrin. Should be 58 or 59. Okay. Not there. Here it is. Here it is. No, it's not. It's there somewhere. Where is it? I just don't. I'm just concentrating on our topic, so pardon me.
I've got the divine code. It's got the sources. The prohibition is not applied to charrettes animals.
Yes. What page is that on?
That is 299 of the second edition.
No. What page does it quote in the margin? Where to look it up in the Talmud?
Sorry. The blood of non-kosher land animals and birds is forbidden to Jews as forbidden blood under prohibition Leviticus 12:26.
Where in the Talmud? It should say Sanhedrin something 50 something.
Laws of forbidden food 6:1.
No, it should say Sanhedrin.
It's not. Oh, there's a track for 19 for, let's see. Also tractate Sanhedrin 59b.
59b.
For the next sentence. Okay.
There it is. Yeah. Talmud Leimer. Ach basar benafsha dama lo tachlu. You might think even rats. Right? In Noah's commandment, you would think even rats. Talmud Leimer. Umay Talmuda. Misha damo chaluk mebasro. The blood is different than the meat. Yatsu shratzim she'ein damim chaluk mebasro. That's right. So their meat and their blood is one thing. Right? Shadamu chaluk mebasro yatsu shratzim she'ein damim chaluk mebasro. Meisvei v'darted v'dagas. Oh, interesting, because it then brings up a fish. So, you would think that in Noah's, let's think about this. In Noah's commandment, you would think by it saying the meat in its blood, with the blood, the soul in its blood with the meat, don't eat. You would think also rats. The rats are included. Therefore, it's saying damo misha damo chaluk mebasro, or mahuna damo misha damo chaluk mebasro. 1 second, this is challenging. What read the divine code there? What does it say?
I was looking something up about the sharets. The animals is defined in Leviticus here. It says the prohibition does not apply to a sharet's animal defined below because there is no Torah law distinction between consuming flesh or blood of sharets, as is also the case for insect-like creatures and all other creatures that are not included in the prohibition.
So, they didn't explain it right. It has to do with the blood and the meat being either one thing or two separate things. And I just don't have the freedom of mind to concentrate on it right this second. So here I read Rashi. You might think even sharatzim are forbidden. That aver should be aver benachai asur lehem. Talmud lamar miut. Here it is. Kol achiva. Yeah. So they are not considered aver menachai. That's right. That's what it is. They are not considered aver menachai, living animal. So then, is it forbidden or allowed to eat a rat? Does the divine code answer?
It's not a sharet, so no. That it does give a list in here of the forbidden, or the ones that do not fall under it: shrimp, lobsters, insects, reptiles like snakes and lizards, frogs, mollusks, snail, squid, octopus, clams, oysters, etc.
Why not sherets?
I'm sorry?
Sherets, as you're calling it. Sherets.
Sherets. Thank you.
Is it allowed or not allowed?
No, it's not included in any of these creatures, at least in the divine code here. The author, this is not what the author put down. So I find no. So far, I would say
there's no halacha on it. Hold on.
It gives to Leviticus 11:29, which I have open, but I don't know I have to look in the commentary to find out.
Yeah, I'd like to know if it's what the answer is. Not now, but within your own time. It's not a regular animal, so it's not considered a living animal. But I saw somewhere recently when I was preparing tonight. I think by a Jew. Okay, let me get back on topic. I think it's by a Jew. Yeah, this is our discussion. Okay. By a Jew, you can... Yeah, I got it now. That's it. I got it. Got it. By a Jew, we have... Don't eat the limb of a living animal also. Okay? We're all on the same page now? The rat is a perfect launch pad. Type 1. You guys with me? The Jew is in 1926, is read by James Rogers. But again, that's pshuto, not pshat. There's actually another commandment for the Jew. And the commandment for the Jew, and I haven't exhausted this stuff, that's what I'm saying. We're just introducing concepts here. I'm not trying to be Moshe Messina here, okay? This is not definitive stuff. Because this is a vast topic. We're not focusing on one little law here. The Jew is commanded not to eat dam nefesh, the soul blood. Type 2, because you don't know what soul blood is. Everyone type 2, because you don't know what soul blood is. How many of you know what shechita is? Type 1 if you know what shechita is. Type 2 if you don't. Ritual slaughter. Kosher slaughter. When you slaughter the neck of a cow with a very sharp knife, a halachically sharp knife, the blood squirts out. Is that correct? Is this a reality, a wisdom of the creation? That blood is called dam nefesh. That is literally the soul of the animal. And that is what is forbidden to eat on the most stringent level for a Jew. That animal is kosher right now, just by that blood squirting out. You cop this? The soul left that animal. We say in our chulin that we're doing today, shechita makes it kosher and ready to eat. So if there's shechita, it's a kosher slaughter. You got that? 1. But for non-Jews, Noahides, shechita is not what makes it kosher. Does a Noahide have to shecht an animal to eat it? No. No. They can stab it. It's the death of the animal that makes it ripe.
So was Noah's slaughter not kosher?
I don't know. I can guess, but it's not the scope of right this second.
Okay.
So I'm taking this somewhere different. And I guarantee you have the answer to that when we're done with today. That's actually the conclusion of the class.
Okay.
The verse that you read for me, not the soul and the blood, is where we learn don't eat the limb of a living animal, like the actual meat. So there's the meat, i.e. the limb, and the blood. And as we just read in 59b and Sanhedrin, there are two different things. But by a rat, it's all one thing. It's called guts, bug juice type stuff, right? By the cow, you extract the blood, and the meat is ready for consumption. If I killed a cow with a kosher shechting, and then I take my samurai sword and cut a really raw steak, totally bloody raw steak, can I eat that steak? But what about the blood? What about the blood?
Did the soul leave the body?
In this class, we're going to say no, but in my example right now, yes. That's correct. So what is the proper way to cook it? Because I'm probably not going to eat it raw. How do you cook it? You grill it. Yeah, fire. It draws all the blood out. Then you don't even need to salt it, like kosher. You don't even need to salt it. Then you just have to spray off the meat, put it on fire, and you're good to go.
You know, I'd always assumed that the kosher slaughter was pretty much what Noahide folk were supposed to follow to the best of their ability.
Follow this class.
I am.
This was gonna be good for you. So then, rabbinically, the Jewish people, which is the classic smicha, how to kosher stuff, rabbinic ordination. It's all rabbinic enactments of how to handle that meat. Even though we can just put on the grill, there's wisdom in how to salt it, wash it, the whole system. The tractate we're talking about, chulin, is a lot of that. For a Noahide, it's a totally different everything. There's no shechita. The individual laws are different. And I started tonight trying to find that ger middle ground, right? Is there a middle bridge ground between Jewish meat and non-Jewish meat? And I had a really hard time finding that bridge. It's not like a non-inverse bridge. And the goal is dinim. What is the scope and parameter of Noahide meat? Hear the question? We want to know, what is Noahide meat? What is considered a limb of a living animal? What is considered kosher for a Noahide? And we were brought to the verse in Noah, and really nowhere else. So then there's the Jew, don't eat the blood of the soul, and don't eat the limb of a living animal. And there's separate verses.
Would the meat given to the ger and sold to the nochri have anything to do with how this would apply?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. So the dam nefesh, the soul with the blood, a lot of places call that limb of a living animal. I'm not sure why, after learning today this piece. I know why. I just thought of it. Because Noah, this is it, because Noah's verse is don't eat the blood in the meat. So which the Jewish commandment is dam nefesh. So the Jewish people don't really have don't eat the limb of a living animal. Because since I have to shech the animal, and I can't eat the dam nefesh, if the non-Jewish donkey, and I rip the leg off, could I ever get to fulfilling your commandment? Could I ever transgress a Noahide commandment? Anybody? Could I end up eating the leg of a donkey? It's impossible. Because it's not a kosher animal for me. I have to shecht it. And if I didn't shecht it, I'm definitely eating the blood. So there's really no way to come on to such a mitzvah. I mean, we're assuming you're playing by somewhat of the rules. Right, exactly. So if a Jew who follows the Torah is warned against eating a limb of a living animal, then you have to assume I shechted the animal and ate the dam nefesh. Because Noah's verse is the blood with the soul in it. So there's two ways of understanding limb of a living animal. The Jewish way from Noah and the non-Jewish way.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That verse, you shall not eat over the blood, since it's next to a commandment prohibiting sorcery or indulging in sorcery and lucky charms, that sort of thing, would that have anything more to do with that verse specifically for?
That's exactly where we're going now. Exactly. But there, James Rogers said there's a verse, don't eat the limb of a living animal. So to my amazement tonight, I found out when we were calling the limb of a living animal by don't eat the life force of the blood by a Jew, there actually is a verse warning don't eat the limb of a living animal. But guess what Rashi says on that verse? That is a rabbinic attachment. That verse, the rabbis would learn that as an asmachta, a support. You know, you really shouldn't eat the limb of a living animal. But you didn't do a sin. Can you imagine that? The Jew is allowed to eat the limb of a living animal. Can you believe that? How is that possible?
Difficult.
It's difficult, but run your mind through it. Number one, okay, and we know it's fantastic, but watch this. It'll blow your mind. This is called Deya. You got to run your mind through an algorithm, okay? Play along with me.
All right.
We're searching on Google. How can a Jew eat the limb of a living animal? You got the question? This is why people have a problem learning Torah. They can't allow themselves to ask a ridiculous question. That's where Ger comes from, by the way. You have to be able to ask the question. Can a non-Jew keep Shabbos? Can a non-Jew blah, blah, blah? You have to be able to ask the question. So a Jew can eat the limb of a living animal, right? Everyone type 1. We have a verse saying not to, but we're saying not really. Number 1, was it a donkey and we ripped the leg off, or was it a shechted cow? Because you can't kill an animal unless you shecht it for a Jew. So which one was it? Is he eating a donkey and ripping the leg off and it's allowed because he's a Jew? Or are we saying a Jew is commanded to kill it with shechita and that's how he did it? And which one? Type your answer. Did I just throw out the Torah and eat a donkey and its leg? Or did I attempt to play by the rules? Come on, guys. I did not eat the leg off a donkey. It's forbidden. I didn't ask you how. All I said was state the obvious. Did I rip the leg off a donkey, or did I follow the Torah and kill a cow? Step 1. Everyone should type you shechted a cow. Thank you. But you should be telling me it's kosher, Rabbi Katz. Everyone type that. But it's kosher, Rabbi Katz.
But it's kosher, Rabbi Katz.
It is. And didn't I tell you that slaughter makes kosher? Everyone type 1. But you said that you can eat the limb of a living animal, Rabbi Katz. This is a contradiction. You have a dead kosher cow, and you're telling me that it's called the limb of a living animal. 1 or 2. All right. Now, before I tell you the answer, we have a kosher slaughtered. Yes, that is the answer, Justin B. I'll go ahead and do it the way you're saying it. Ready? Here's the case in the Talmud. Ready? One who wants to eat from an animal, a kosher animal, before the soul went out, should cut the piece of meat the size of an olive from the place of slaughter, salt it well, wash it well, wait on it until the soul goes out, and he can eat it. Okay? So was it the limb of a living animal and after slaughter? Yes, type 1. And the Torah said don't eat it. It's forbidden, but not from the Torah, type 1. And we found out we can actually eat the limb of a living animal. Yes.
if it wasn't consumed until death, then it's not living when you eat it.
Yes.
Okay. So you still can't eat the limb of a living animal.
But some want to say by the Noahides, can well, the thing is, you cut it all. You cut the piece when it was still alive. That's the thing. It was taken from when it was alive. Yeah. Now let's play a game. That episode, this is the crux of the whole night, guys. Can a Noahide eat that piece of meat? A Jew shechted a cow, didn't die. They cut the meat out, did all the song and dance. A Jew can eat it. Can a Noahide eat it? What do you guys think? We got some good machlekes here. Oh, some arguments. Arguments are coming. Look at this. Where's Alan Cecil when you need him?
Where he belongs.
Want to tell you the answer? A Noahide can eat the meat. And the Talmud does ask your question. Isn't it forbidden for a Noahide to eat the limb of a living animal? There's a really great answer. Ready for the answer?
I'm ready.
That which is allowed for a Jew is not forbidden for an Akum. It was already elevated. Thank you, Eric Bryan. This concept now, this is the one I want to look up more and research. It opens up Pandora's box. Think about like what we did in the Kabbalah class for the Arizal, isolate the statement, right? That which is allowed for a Jew and Akum even can partake. But on page 120, whatever we said, what was it? 121b, if it was a Akum slaughter on the cow, kosher, but Akum slaughter, or we Jewish slaughtered a donkey, can we eat the meat in the same way? We slaughtered it, the blood didn't go out. Can the Jew or the Akum eat the meat where it was a donkey kosher slaughter or a cow kosher slaughter but by an Akum? What do you think? Can the Jew eat that meat? Correctamundo. The Jew cannot eat a donkey kosher slaughter. The Jew cannot eat slaughter kosher by an Akum. Can an Akum, in this goofy, funny way, eat the meat from a Jewish kosher slaughter donkey or a kosher slaughter by an Akum? Eric Bryan's a liar because he told me it could only be eaten by the first case when it was already elevated. In this case, it's not elevated, so the answer is no. Oh. Oof. How do you like them apples, boss? The meat was, I like how you said it. I never would have put it that way. That was awesome. It was not elevated here, but it was elevated before. Now we have a fantastic discussion on our hands. Can we say, can a non-Jew eat kosher food?
Of course.
But it's a Jewish mitzvah. You have to do 7 mitzvahs and go to heaven. You can't do Jewish mitzvahs. You cannot do Jewish mitzvahs.
There's no prohibition.
It's the divine code. But can you eat a kosher deli? Katz's Deli? Lenny's Deli?
Yes.
I agree with you. But now you've opened up Pandora's box.
If you're selling it to the general public, if you're allowed to sell it to the general, if you're allowed to sell kosher food.
Don't ask the Divine Code that. They'll tell you you're Chayav Misa. Now I'm having a kosher Shabbos at my house. I don't use my microwave on Saturday.
And
Are you guys also allowed to not use my microwave on Saturday? Oh, so you're keeping Shabbos. You guys are keeping Shabbos with me. If it's allowable for a Jew, can the Akum walk in the footsteps of the elevation from the Jew? Can you be in my house on Shabbos? Or do I say, go away? Now, I want to go to Eric's house on Shabbos. I want him to set up the whole Shabbos for me. Or is that the same as a Jewish slaughter on a donkey? Or a kosher slaughter by an Akum? Would not be elevated. So I can't be relying on my non-Jewish friends to keep me going for Shabbos. All the more so, they wouldn't say, hey, we're keeping Shabbos with Rabbi Katz. Light the cigarette. Rabbi Katz, can I get you another cigarette? But if Rabbi Katz is having Shabbos and I'm not using my microwave, you are allowed to not use my microwave. Now that we've understood the principle, this is a hypothetical answer to a question I've been asking for a long time. Elsewhere, I think it's either in Bamidbar or Vayikra, it says in the Torah, do not consume blood. And it's not the same prohibition of eating the limb of a living animal. It says don't eat blood. Can anybody remember who else is mentioned in that verse? The native. I'll give you a hint. It starts with a G.
The ger.
Ends with an R. Ger. And the commentators want to say it's the ger tzedek, which the Amaratzim want to say that it's the convert, which we know that's not true. Because if a convert needs to learn that he takes the mitzvahs of a Jew, I question what kind of convert that is. So here's my new answer. I intend to look into it further. If I'm a Jew and I don't eat blood, let's say I'm having a barbecue, okay? And I am careful to not eat blood in my barbecue. I got to find that verse and find the scope of it and how it's different than the limb of a living animal, okay? I just don't know in the front of my brain yet. But I do know there's a verse in the Torah, several verses, like 6 verses in a row. It's a whole thing. I forget where it's at. I'm not going to eat blood, okay? Give me a 1. You guys root me on? Go, Rabbi Katz. Don't eat the blood. Woo! Does that mean... What does it mean that the ger doesn't eat blood? If you people here call yourselves ger, does that mean it's forbidden for you to eat blood, just like me, the Jew? Because if you say yes, that means all of you are guilty. You're all guilty. If you've called yourself a ger and you've eaten blood, you're guilty. Problematic, isn't it? I was tripped on that one a long time. I've had answers, but I think now I got the answer. Ready? If Rabbi Katz is not eating the blood at the barbecue, and the Gerim are there, and they're saying, what the Jew does, we do, just like the kosher food. Now, can they eat blood? So the ger, this is such a chiddush. I got to research this more. I'm saying this is lo nachon. It's lo nachon. I'm not totally cooked on this, pun intended, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to follow it up. It would sound to me that when it says the ger, with the native, don't eat the blood, he's following in the footsteps of the kosher. So the ger is the one who chooses this dictum. If it's allowed for the Jew, it's allowed or not. It's not forbidden for the akum. If it's allowed for the Jew, it's not forbidden for the akum. An akum that sanctifies that which is allowed for the Jew would be called ger. Because the verse says the ger will not eat the blood.
I would think naturally that those who keep the 7 would strive for kosher.
But don't open this up for all mitzvahs. Even though we're saying that a ger can do mitzvot, this and that, the right way, it's not exactly in the language here. Follow the language. I don't use my microwave on Shabbos. Are you allowed to not use my microwave on Shabbos? But they'll say, a goy who keeps Shabbos is chayiv misa. Oh, the non-Jew's supposed to break Shabbos. But if I'm allowed to not use my microwave, aren't you allowed to also not use my microwave? Meaning I'm not doing something. I'm not doing something. Right. But if it's in the realm of it's allowed for me, doesn't say I'm commanded to not use my microwave. You understand that? There's no commandment. David Katz cannot, is forbidden. I choose to, I say I choose. I'm allowed to, I'm allowed certain things. The non-Jew is allowed also. It's a svara, right? It's logical, we're saying. If the Jew can eat kosher, the non-Jew can eat kosher. If the Jew can keep Shabbos to say that God created the world and not idolatry, can the non-Jew express non-idolatry through the Sabbath? See how it's a little bit different? We're not saying you just imitate the Jew.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense. We're saying if the Jew can do it, I can do it. We're not saying be like the Jews, be Jewish. We're talking about forbidden and allowed, permitted and forbidden. The Jew cut the meat out, blah blah blah. It's allowed. Can the non-Jew eat the meat? Yeah. As Eric said, it's elevated. See how it's a total difference from, well, if the Jews can do it, I can do it. Big difference. It's a chiddush that the Jew can do it. So the ger would be the one operating in an elevated state. God doesn't want people eating blood. So, the Jew has a barbecue. And he's taking on Jewish kosher according to the meat and the blood. and I'm a ger, right? Can the Jew give me nevela and say, here, ger toshav, have fun? Really? I'm eating nevela? Thank you. See how you guys think about me. That's very nice. I'm not forgetting that. I don't eat nevela. So you're at my house, and I don't eat nevela, and you're calling yourself a ger.
Oh. Okay. I thought you said that you were... Okay.
I switched. So now, I'm not eating blood. The ger is not to eat blood. So you're already elevated now. You're not even eating the nevela. You're partaking in my kosher blood meat experience. Isn't it kind of a chutzpah to start licking up the blood off the floor like a dog? Imagine that. Jews eating kosher and all the non-Jews like, hey, give me the blood. Wow, Rabbi Katz, this is so good to be at your house. Give me the blood. The Torah says it is forbidden for the ger to eat the blood. Because the ger is elevated, like Eric said. It's almost like saying if it's permitted for the Jew, it's permitted for the non-Jew. It's almost like a weird way of saying it's permitted for the Jew to not eat blood. And we're in that domain. Which it's almost like two negatives is a positive, right? I am permitted to not eat blood, which is another way of saying don't eat the blood. The Torah is saying, hey, you, if that's you, don't eat the blood also. And it says ger tzedek because it's not a ger toshav. A ger toshav is defined by nevela. So that's what I wanted to show, that the Noahide law of limb of a living animal changes when a Jew led the way. So here's my favorite point for Rabbi Cecil. The contradiction in philosophies, the Jew wants to see Gerim in the world. Shabbos, meaning no idolatry on Shabbos. Learning Torah for the sake of heaven. And we believe as Jews that Mashiach will come that way. Say amen.
Amen.
And the non-Jews, led by Rabbi Cecil, in view, not literally, but say that when the Jews are too busy arguing, we should be bringing down America and instituting the 7 laws as a new constitution. Worldwide socialism. That's what he's trying to argue. And the fundamental argument is Jews, you keep to yourselves. We non-Jews will do what we do. And if you can help me learn a svar or two, I'd appreciate that. Have we all seen that argument floating around? You eat your donkey, and I'll eat my kosher steak, right? But what we're saying is, if it's allowed for the Jew, even the Akum is allowed to partake. Is the Jew in the Jewish halacha allowed to make gerim? Yes.
Seemed to be a natural consequence.
Yeah, right. So let's put it, before I give the second part of that statement, let's look at it this way. If we are having a cook-off, not kick-off, cook-off, Rabbi Katz is serving up a dead animal that didn't die right away. Okay? And Rabbi Cecil is serving up a dead donkey. And he wants everybody to eat the dead donkey. Because there's a fictitious law that whoever has meat left over loses the contest. Can I recruit my friends, the Gerim, to help me eat my kosher, my weird case of a cow? Would you guys like to eat cow with me?
Mm.
And Cecil's over there saying, but you have to eat my donkey. Let the Jew eat kosher at Lenny's Deli. We have to eat the donkey. And I'm saying, you guys don't have to eat the donkey. Do you like cow? Albeit in a funny way, we got to do this and the song and dance, but do you want to eat Jewish meat? I teach, if it's allowed for me, it's allowed for you. And the opposition would be saying, no, we got to eat donkey. Got to eat donkey. So that we can learn from this principle. If the Noahide has his way, and the Jew has his way, and it comes out practically that the Jew allows people to get on his bus by the law, the law says you can get on the Jewish bus, and you're not a Jew. There's no need to convert. It's not imitation. We're not talking wannabe here. We're saying allowed or not allowed. You can eat with part, take part of the cow, or it's against your Torah, your law. So the more things we find that the Jew is by not a loophole in halacha, just it doesn't apply anything against it. It's not the living animal to eat a cow in this way. And the Akum, even the Akum, can eat it with you. So there's a precedent, a svara, that when the two laws contradict, it is allowable to follow the Jewish path. Should you wish to and exist in that elevated state, not elevated better, one is more refined, dying by stoning, dying by sword, eating a shechted cow, eating a shechted donkey. Nobody says you have to be refined all the time. Sometimes I actually eat McDonald's. Some people would say, how could you eat that? We all have our klipa and our unrefined state. But if we're talking about Mashiach and Gula, yes, Mashiach could come the Noahide way. We'll make a coup in America and rewrite the Constitution. You could very well make that case. And while the Jews are putzing around, it's probably plausible to make that case. But if the Jewish way is operative, the Chiddush is oftentimes the Jewish way is not operative. So what does that mean? If the Jewish way is not operative, if there's no ger today because of Yovel, does that mean there's no ger today? We're all living in a less than ideal situation. I'm a Cohen living in exile, not as a Cohen. But if I find the opportunity to be a Cohen, I certainly will be. And that's what it means din shel ger toshav. When you can elevate, you're supposed to elevate. If you want to, it's up to you. You don't have to go to the temple every day when it's built, but you can. Let's say the temple's built. Some of you might go every day, some of you won't. Does that mean he's better than you? No. Some of you probably exercise more than me. Are you better than me? You do what you do. You're healthier than me. Okay. I should exercise more. I agree. So when it comes to this contradiction, there's absolutely no hindrance of following the elevated way. The Chiddush is getting the Jewish people to keep being elevated so we can all do the elevated way. Ger is an elevated thing. People want to be elevated, so let's do ger. They want to say, no, we're not allowed. Not elevated, but it is. You're not supposed to go out and kill this cow so you can get this thing. You're not supposed to make laws, okay, everybody, take it over now, and you got to be ger toshav. You have to. You have to. No, you don't have to. But if it happens, and you're in the place and time, and you want to do it, do it. That's what the law is there for. This is not B'diavad. This is not secondary lowly law here. It's a reality. We cut the cow. It didn't die. We're not going to throw away good meat. I mean, is Ger not the less than ideal state? I'm born this way. I don't know why. I don't feel like an Agum. I don't want to convert. It's problematic. Can I just elevate? Yeah, you can. The Torah wants you to elevate. There's something called you, and it's telling you, hey, you, elevate. But I can't elevate. There's no Jews around me elevated. So, therefore, then we're stuck in Klippa. But the irony is that's how the Jew elevates too. When the temple's here, it's like the perfectly shechted cow. And then no one's asking the question anymore. Everything's elevated. What's the problem? But in life, isn't most things not elevated? Go to a restaurant tomorrow and tell me if you had a perfect experience. I guarantee you won't. Guarantee you won't. So the question becomes, should we come back? Should we continue? Here's the classic one. You had a hair in your food. Oh, man. Oh, man. Do you continue? Can you eat it? Yeah. Now, how do you know if you can eat it? If you're in a really dodgy place, type 1 or 2, do you continue eating it? No. If you're in a pretty good place with a good track record, do you continue eating it? Yeah. Bottom line, is that mostly reality? You're going to find the shady thing and you got to figure out, just close your eyes and keep going? That's just the Torah is about reality. Now, here's the real trivia question. All the great kosher food today, right? Great kosher food. Do you think nothing dodgy happens in that slaughterhouse? You really think you're eating a perfectly elevated, the shochet checked? Oh, it's sublime. There's some. It just doesn't work that way. That's why if it's kosher slaughter, it's kosher. And there's a limited valve of kashrut in the world. But if we can chaperine and get onto the elevation, should we elevate? Or is it allowed to elevate? Yeah. That's the whole point. Most things are naturally not elevated. So if you can elevate that which is typically not elevated, can we all elevate? Here's where the Torah, the Dinim, become highly merciful. Ger is that which finds the path of elevation through the Dinim. I'm going to check the blood thing and the principle. I want to make this maybe part 2 next week. I'm not sure. But this is all, it has been an introduction to this concept, which is a fact. I mean, I'm looking at it. I know for a fact it's a fact. I looked it up. About the weird cow, you can elevate, the non-Jew can eat it. What I'm saying is, at this point, lo nachon, the implications of that law, based on Svara. But based on Svara, I'm right. If you want to go by Svara, absolutely right. If you want me to source it for you, I got to do that stuff. 99.9% of people that are Jewish and learning are holding by Svara. So by Svara, it's good. I call that lo nachon. I demand a source. God willing, I will source it. Otherwise, you really don't have the right to rely on Svara as the din. But in the terms of the class that we're doing, Dinim, to learn the Svara of the law, I believe we achieved that goal, 1 or 2. And by the way, this is consistent for the last 3 weeks. We never get the din. All we ever do is isolate Ger and then ask the question, how far does the Svara go on Ger? Here, we didn't learn from a Ger verse. what we did was we learned a verse and a concept, and then we applied it to gear. We're going to cut off from here pretty soon. We took something that looked gear, and then we said, it sounds very gear. Don't eat the blood, the native and the gear. Can we compare the two? By svara, it looks very good. That's already called pill pull a little bit. But to lock it down and make it dinim, that would be a nice exercise. The bottom line is, we'll close on this. The akum can eat kosher against Noahism when it's kosher for Judaism. We have a ger verse, don't eat the blood. The Jew exists in all these time frames. The ger is with the blood. The akum is with this thing here. What we want to say, where the Jew is consistent, can we say that where there's an elevation where the akum is not, is that simply called ger? And if it is, does it apply everywhere? It's a question just like the question on blasphemy and the question on Mesiras Nefesh. How a non-Jew eats limb of a living animal. The ger factor is what basically opens up to endless possibilities. So here we don't have an implicit ger. But if we bring ger into this, it opens up endless possibilities once again. Now, we know there's a ger verse. It's just not brought here. And we would have to show that it's one universe of meat and blood. There's no reason to think it isn't. We would just need to really prove it and lock it down and show that it is. If the consequence is, if it is one universe, then ger would successfully show how to elevate with Israel. That's why you don't rely on svara. But man, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. But it's such a chiddush, you would have to prove how the two blood verses are one universe. Really showing that the ger blood and akum blood is one thing. That would be the real din that we're looking for. Real din. If that din exists, you have a svara turning to din. I'm saying my svara works. That opens up endless possibilities and basically proves how ger is what we know it to be, just on a world level, world-changing, tikkun olam, messianic, everything. So the goal would be to go from svara of a known din to lock down a very substantial din, which would open the door to pretty much an endless array of kosher svara. Thank you for listening. Be well.